Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Lesson and Classics. This is episode number 1993 and episode number 1887. I have two more trades. Second one, I actually was going to review a different trade, but it turns out that trade I reviewed everything in it already, so why wouldn't I review the trade? I've already reviewed everything in it. Yep. Alright, first up we have Captain Marvel, The Lives of Carol Danvers. Now, some of the stuff in this trade I have discussed before. Now, Marvel Superheroes 13. This is her 96. So this actually is her debut, just as was Carol Danvers. This book surprisingly does not contain the issue against her powers. That was from Captain Marvel 46. I don't know why it doesn't get designed in this book. It's kind of weird. They do contain issue number 1, which is basically her debut as Captain Marvel. Well, Miss Marvel, excuse me. 19. That is noteworthy for one thing. It's her first meeting with Captain Marvel as Miss Marvel, and then later on she changed her costume. In the case of Avengers 183 184, that is pretty much her joining the Avengers for the first time. Yes. Those issues were done by Dave Michelini and artwork by John Byrne. Yes. Now, the cover of those issues done by George Perez and Terry Austin. Yes. Now, Carol Danvers at that point in time basically had stopped wearing her original outfit. This one here, that was her first costume, which for some reason they had, of all people, and this was kind of weird for the book at the time, they actually had, get this, okay, they had Moonstone wear this costume for some reason. Yes. All because she's a blonde, and the fact that she wanted to be Miss Marvel. Yes. So, yeah, 183 is her basically kind of joining the, I believe, let me look at this up here just to be sure. But I believe that this issue here, 183, I believe this is the issue where she officially joins the Avengers. Or at least before this one. Let's see. Yes, this is her joining the Avengers. Though, also this issue, Scarlet Witch leaves the team. Yep. So, she basically joins the Avengers with this issue here. And, well, they want to fingerprint her. This is something that Guyrick wanted to do. Yeah, of course, there's some adventure here. Deal with the Absorb Man. Yeah, and then, of course, after Absorb Man, basically, she's talking to Henry Peter Guyrick when she joins the Avengers. Yeah, where they want her fingerprints. She's like, no, I don't want to get my fingerprints. And then Iron comes with a genius idea by using a retinal scanner. Yes, a retinal scanner for her ID. Yep. Or basically, the first thing she says, I think it'd be wise, Mr. Guyrick, if you have your overzealous agent here move his clumsy paw off my wrist. Unless, of course, National Security Council plans on opening a special branch of one-hand operatives. And he's like, look, lady, ID is standard requirement for joining the Avengers these days. Otherwise, though, how we really know who you really behind that mess? You have a word, Buster. Take my fingerprints to compromise my secret identity. Especially if the crossroads my NSA. Excuse me. What is Mr. Stark? A solution I hope you use retina prints instead. They're just fingerprints. But less, of course, are less likely to be recorded elsewhere. Well, I don't like it, but okay, Jenkins. Carter, pick up the optical scanner from the office and bring back a voice print recorder where you're at, just in case. Yeah. And, yeah, that was actually a pretty smart move, retinal scanner. Yeah, I kind of wish they did that for Spider-Man in modern day. Yeah, but the thing is, they know who he is, so. Now, 164 is basically her becoming binary for the first time. Yeah, that's pretty much what this issue is. It's her basically kind of joining up with the Starjammers. Yeah, her take up new identity as, well, let's start with Leandra in this issue. And basically, kind of in a way, it's her becoming binary. Her getting her binary costume. Yes, because I believe this was her first appearance as binary. Yes, this was her debut as Binary. And she apparently remained as Binary for pretty much a good period of time. Until about the 90s, where she basically... Now, by the way, this issue came out in 1982, which was just after she had left the Avengers. So, here, when she became Binary, she became part of the Starjammers. And she remained with the Binary, this form, for a while. And then we have the Logan Shadow Society. What this thing is a Howard Minke book. He does co-writing with Mark Jansen, with artwork by Tom Crooker, Keith Atkin, and Octavio Carrillo. Logan Shadow Society is, simply put, a book where you have a team-up story in civilian form for Wolverine and Carol Danvers. That's it. That's really what this book is. Came out, if you're curious though, when this book came out per se, you might ask. Well, this came out in 1996. Yes. Now, in the case of the rest of the issues in this book, Avengers 4, I reviewed that one. That basically be with the Avengers Assembled Volume 1. Iron Man Volume 385. Iron Man, it was basically Avengers Assembled Iron Man. Miss Marvel Volume 2, 32-33. Already discussed issues already. And the first issue of the Captain Marvel book by Kelly Suhanic. The issues here are pretty good. If you basically want to get a good entry point into Carol Danvers, this book basically for you. Oddly enough, if you think about a lot of the issues in this book, like, only one issue this book had never seen light before is probably Logan's Shadow Society. That's probably a good book you could pick up with this one, because that's the only issue in this whole trade that had not been reprinted in narrative before that I could think of. But this book is pretty good. This book roughly 8-9 out of 10. Alright, next up is Maestro World War M. Yep. Listen to me. This actually is the conclusion of a 3-trilogy miniseries by Peter David. Yes. Now, if you're curious though, Peter David created this character. So he has every right to revisit this character. Just like how you have the late Neil Adams, where he constantly revisiting Batman, or he revisited Dead Man for a miniseries, because after he did drew his first cover appearance for Dead Man. He basically drew the cover, which is basically the man's debut. Now, this miniseries is the end of a trilogy, which leads into Future Imperfect miniseries, which David also did. Now, Peter David he doesn't do any ongoing series right now. He just does limited series. He was doing this. He was doing Cinematic Spider-Man, but I think that's been concluded with King in Black. But this basically was one of 3. First, you had Mesmero, Symphony, and a Gamma Key. That was the first one, which I have not reviewed that one yet. And the previous one, which is War and Pax. Now, with this particular miniseries, you have, of course, Maestro, where he's taking on Namor and get this, Abomination. Yep. And not the only ones pop up in this miniseries. We also appearance here by thinking, who the heck is the flaming guy? That's Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch. Like, that's interesting. A character who has... Now, I get maybe Namor and I'm sorry, and Abomination, but Jim Hammond? What kind of history does he have with the Hulk? Barely any I could think of. There's something else with Rick Jones. Also, Toro. Toro was the Human Torch's sidekick. Yeah, Human Torch has a sidekick from the 40s. That Marvel barely brings this guy up anymore. Yeah. But this miniseries is just pure awesomeness at its finest. And you gotta love the fact Peter David still works Marvel. And unlike another writer, Chris Claremont, he's not blacklisted. Yeah, he's not blacklisted because he's respected. And I enjoy this man's work. I've never come across a bad Peter David book. Yep, give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Just really good here. If you're curious to who does the artwork for this miniseries, it's basically a couple artists. We have Jeremy Recuria, who does first 4 issues. Last issue is done by Sebastian Cabral. Apparently, the opening sequence of this miniseries is done by Pascal Ferry. The cover is done by Carla Paccio, Raquel Farias, and Jesus Abrao, who is the colorist. Good book here. Will I eventually read the first miniseries? Yes. I actually picked this up from Barnes & Noble. I just randomly found it on this shelf. I just figured, why not pick it up? Yep. It was good. So yeah, that's Tip Particular Review. Next up is basically some more interesting Marvel stuff. And this is a book I did pick up recently from Barnes & Noble that I'm so happy to get a chance to talk about next video. Bye.